All right. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for sticking around. It's been a long day. If you've seen the whole thing, that's pretty impressive. So congratulations. You will all get a new guitar by the end. No, you won't. We have 2 more to give away, though, so stick around.
Are circling now.
Yeah. No, we have 2 more to give away, and hopefully you get some cool stuff out of this free long day session. All right. So for my section, I have a confession to make. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. No, I kind of do, but it's not prepared as well as I should have prepared, but there is a reason behind it. Because I want to talk about confidence. And I think the best way to talk about confidence is to experience a scenario where I don't really have the tools to be very confident because I didn't prepare much. So obviously we're talking about music. Guitar is our instrument to convey the story that's inside of you. But there is still a context when you're playing where confidence is super important. And there's a lot of scenarios where you have felt or you're going to feel unprepared. And that's me right now because I don't know what the next sentence is going to be at all. But my goal in this session is to try to analyze what's going on in my state of mind where I don't feel confident and see if we can apply some of the things that we gather from this on the guitar. So we talked a little bit about that earlier in the group Q&A, reading versus not reading to start off with. And one of my answers was, it kind of depends of what you want to do. Do you want to tell your story or do you want to be able to tell a story that has been written before? And there's no right or wrong answer there. But in my line of work, I chose the path of telling my own story. That's where I feel the most fulfilled. And again, not that that's better than the other way, but that's kind of what I do. And so we're going to talk about improvisation and how to overcome some of the fear that you might have of playing with some musicians that you've never played before or stepping on a stage in an open jam night and not knowing what to do, being unprepared. And I think your state of mind has a big role to play when it comes to delivering the message that you're going to deliver. For those of you who follow me on YouTube, I've done a similar video before where I was not prepared at all. So I don't want you to think that, oh, he's just repeating a video that he did. Same topic, but again, this is not prepared. My speech right now is very careful. I don't know if it comes across that way, but I'm really listening to what I'm saying. And as I'm saying the words, as I'm saying the sentences, I'm gathering clues as to what the next sentence is going to be. And at the end of each sentence, there's a silence. And that silence, in my mind, there's crazy stuff happening. I'm wondering if I'm going to be able to use the right word in the next sentence. Is my train of thought going to make sense? Am I going to start talking about my Christmas randomly? Hopefully not. It was good, but but there really has to be a train of thought in my speech now because I don't want to lose you guys. Same when I'm playing music. So here I'm in a situation where I don't have any other musicians, but I brought a looping pedal here. This can be done without any gear, just yourself with your instrument, nobody listening but yourself. But I'm going to use a looping pedal. If you don't know what that is, that's basically like a mini recorder in a little box that I'm controlling with my feet. And I just press a button. As soon as I press it down, it's recording something. I did press the button, by the way. And as soon as I press it again, it's looping what I just played. I don't have to play anymore. And now I'm taking the role of the listener. I'm listening to what was said before, what I said, which sometimes could be what a musician has said. And the first thing is just listen. Yeah. It's a little bit lower in volume. And I'm just listening, and as I'm listening, the pressure is a little bit off because that's going on. That's filling in the space. And as I'm listening, I'm gathering clues. And I'm going to pause that for a second. One of the clues that there are two main types of clues that you can start gathering to form your next idea. And that's done in speech. When I'm talking to you, same thing. Those two clues are the content of what I'm saying. So that's the vocabulary, the idea, the words. And the second clue, or the second piece of information, is the flow. So when I say flow, I mean the rhythm flow, the style, the pace, the emotion behind those words. So there's really two elements. And I think those two elements are pillars in music. You've got the content, what's said, and how is it said. So in this case, if we listen to this again, the content could be, depending on your level of understanding of music, it could be a scale type of thing. The nature of the chord, in this case it's not a chord, but still there's a key there. Major, minor, could be either way. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. And then the pace, repetitive, kind of upbeat, confident. It's not really subtle. Something subtle would be something like this. We've got to lean over to listen. I'm still playing with confidence, but it's a little more subtle. So those are the things that I'm listening for when I'm playing here. Okay, so I've got my two main ideas as to what should come next or what should come over. In this case, it's what should come over. What can I add to this? So I've got my idea. I'm going to make this minor from the minor family. Not that one is better than the other. In this case, I could go either way. But I'm thinking more minor. And I'm going to match the emotion behind this loop that's going on. So in my mind, even though I'm not a very expressive physical person, but inside I'm still kind of like bouncing to the beat, right? So I'm thinking minor. So in my mind, I've got all these choices of notes, and we'll really break this down in a minute. But so these are the choices of notes that I want to use in this. So I'm thinking minor, as opposed to major, which works too, right? That works too, but I'm going with that for the content. And I've got different notes that I could use because I know they're from the same family. That's kind of the content, the language. And then the pace, I'm going to match the pace with that, which again is kind of a beat. Okay, and that created something new. We started with that, and I added an extra layer, which gives you even more focused direction to the musical story I'm telling you. Now I'm having more details to the story that's given, and that directs me even more towards something else. So it's a give and take. You're listening, gathering some clues. Okay, what could work here? And then adding the pieces of the story that are missing that still match that. I wouldn't take this. Let's say that we have this, and we say that this is the beginning of a story. You're reading a book, and you imagine that this is a walk on top of a hill. Someone's walking on top of the hill. He's determined to get on top. That's the story. Over that, I wouldn't start talking about this incredible epic encounter between two lovers who haven't seen each other for 30 years, and finally they meet, and that's what I'm playing here. Different feels, right, to the story. So you've got to match the elements, and that's super important when you want to create something that works and that makes sense to the audience. to the listener. Whether the listener is in a live setting, in a concert, in a jam band, or whatever, or if it's something that you're recording that will be listened to later on. But the story needs to be coherent. I know that some of you might be thinking, well, I love music because I can truly express who I am and I can do whatever I want. There's no rules. And yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with you. But we are here, we're trying to create something that will speak to the most people out there. We're trying to create something very simple. And then later on, we can break the rules as much as you want, no problem. But you need to know what will make sense to most people. And most people like to be told a story that is easy to follow, that makes sense, and you have to nurture your listener always if you want to be paid attention to. If over this right away, my first thought is to play something you might appeal to guitar players, but a lot of people are going to be kind of lost and not really going to pay attention. Whereas if you kind of nurture that relationship that you have between yourself, the player, and the listener is going to start to be engaged into what you say. Just one note. The listener remembers that, and you're going to nurture that even more by repeating it. Okay, the listener heard that before, and he feels connected with you, with your piece. Okay, that was a new piece of information. I added some notes. I'm going to repeat it so that it sounds even more comfortable to you. And then I'm going to develop that. And hopefully, if this is in a real live context, without all the talking and stuff, there would be a connection that is established between you and I. Because I am taking you from a place of complete ununderstanding of what I'm about, because you never heard me before. You don't know what I'm going to tell you musically. But I'm bringing you in really gently so that you trust me by understanding what I'm telling you. I'm not using super fancy words. I'm slowly getting into the subject of the story, the meat of the story, the climax of the story. But I'm really starting by just filling you in with details so that you can picture mentally what I'm telling you musically. So hopefully that makes sense. It's something that I think if you're just beginning or if you've played for years and years, go back to the storytelling thing, because story communicates things that are very, very strong. It's been done all the time in history. Recently, we had elections in the States, and all the candidates, whenever they come, there's some music playing in the background. That music is selected very carefully by the people who do those kind of things, because they know that music has power to influence people. And the national anthem of whatever country you're in is meant to call strong emotions of belonging to a place. And so that's what we're trying to do here musically. Okay. Back to my situation right now where, again, I don't know what's coming next. And I really don't know what's coming next. The confidence thing is really important. So when you're starting to play a note or starting to play an idea, let's pretend that there's thousands of people and you show up and you've got a solo gig, for example. So no more looper, no more listening to others. You've got to deliver something. And that something is a story, an experience. The first few notes you play are going to most likely influence what's coming next. And it's got to be a state of mind, because if you're coming and all you're thinking about is, I'm really not prepared at all. So that influences your speech. You're going to use a lot of that kind of stuff. That's going to become boring for the listener. You're going to start talking really slowly if you really think about yourself in front of the audience. Whereas if you get in the state of mind of, that's true, I don't know what I'm going to say, but I don't need to, because my first few notes, whatever they're going to be, I'm going to say them like I mean it. And it would be something like this. I didn't know what I was going to play, but I played them with more confidence. I hit the right notes in the sense that each note was really defined. It wasn't something like that, where you hear a blur of notes. Each note came as one. And then you stop. And when you're stopping, not only does the listener have a chance to digest what you just told him by gathering clues, the listener doesn't really know, but unconsciously, you are giving him information as to the context. Even if the listener doesn't know the name of the scale or keys or is not educated in music, it still gives him a context of a story. And then the pace, the delivery, the message. This was kind of upbeat. The listener has that, so he's expecting something that matches those two elements for the next part, the next sentence. And that's what I'm doing here. I played something, I gathered the information, and I'm going to continue in the same vein of story. And that's kind of automatic. I give you a sentence, I listen, I answer to that in the same context. And the story kind of tells itself. Now, a story is not only one direction, right? That's why we have chapters. We have different things happening. We're starting here. And if you read the first few sentences of a book and then skipped through everything and read the last two sentences, they wouldn't make sense necessarily. You've got everything in between. But that's the thing the same thing when you're playing with people. Whether you're playing alone like I am here or with other people, you're going places, and that places can be directed by you, the player, or by another member of the band. He can give you clues as to, now we set the mood here, we set the stage, the story happens on the beach, it's the evening, and the bass player has this idea to bring the story somewhere else. There's a monster that appears on the beach. Well, he might give you a clue, like maybe he's going to start first telling you that something's going to happen, so maybe he might play a little bit louder on a few notes. Maybe just bring the story to a place by adding some notes in between. The other players hear that, okay, something's happening, and then at some point you all go towards that new direction. If you're playing alone, it could be like this. So I started my story. I set the stage. It was something like this. Kind of confident and stronger notes. Telling my story, developing, adding details. And in my mind, I have an idea as I'm playing this that I want to introduce a new character at some point. So I'm still describing things, details. And then I want to bring you to that place that I have in my mind. Let's see if you can see the transition there. So I'm starting there. We're somewhere else there, right? Because I just used two chords that were a little bit different, but still, it still had something in common with the beginning of the story. That common thread in this case was the strength of the notes. Kind of use the same dynamic. Got a stronger notes, and then the context was different. Like the key was different, but the common thread was the volume. And now I introduced a new chord, a new key, a new element of the story, and I can change something else because the continuity was respected, and that something else is a new key or a new character of the story. Something more gentle here in this particular case. But always bringing things back to a story that you're telling and you're making up, I think will help you develop your musicality, whether, again, you're playing alone or with other people. Now, how does that apply to someone who just picked up the instrument? You're going to need some things to go by. You can't tell, I've got a 4-month-old in my house, you can't ask him to tell me a story because he doesn't know the words. So you've got to start with simple words, simple ideas. And just like a baby learns how to talk, it's a lot of listening and trying and repeating. So it might not make much sense first, but eventually that baby is going to graduate to using real words and then using one word after the other, create a real sentence. And eventually he'll know how to spell those things, like reading music, how to spell it. And because he knows how to spell a word, that's going to open up a whole new world of new vocabulary that he can use because he'll know the origin of that word. Maybe he'll know the Latin origin of that word. And that'll trigger some new ideas, new trains of thoughts, new stories to be told, new enhanced stories, not just there was a guy on the beach, but there was a prince and his heart was taken by the beauty of the sand and the sky, and he was on the beach, and you're adding details as you go. Please have questions at the end of this.
We'll have questions.
Okay.
There are no shortage of questions.
Awesome. Great. Because, again, this is unprepared, and I don't have a timer, so I don't know how long I have. If there's pressing questions, let's discuss.
We could probably get to some questions. There's a lot here.
Yeah.
Okay.
We do have quite a few. We could definitely roll some up here.
Yeah, let's take one.
All right. This one's from Victor. What's the correct perspective when one is going to a first open mic?
So, yeah, that's a very, very good question. I would say, well, before I give my answer, I would say if you're in this situation where you're terrified about going to open mics and you feel that you absolutely have to, I'm going to reassure you, you don't. You don't have to, first of all, because I had this mental thing for years where I just could not go on stage and play with strangers. I still kind of do. That's not going to make you a lesser musician at all. So be at ease with that. Now, the correct perspective would be that of confidence, having confidence, and I think really bringing it all back to a conversation that you're having with others and realizing that it's not a contest. You don't have to speak like you think you're expected to speak. So when you're joining a conversation, your ideas are as valuable as anyone else's. And we all have our own tone of voice, our own choice of words. But the choice of words doesn't have to direct the emotion or the thing that you have to say. So just being okay with that, being okay with the fact that you're never going to sound like the other guitar player on stage. But the other way around is that guitar player is never going to sound like you. He might be more confident than you. That's all. That's the only difference. So realizing that took me a while to realize that other players who I really respected and still respect a lot, and I think they're awesome, value what I have to say. Just realizing that really will help. And maybe it means that you go to these open mics, you have your guitar in the back, you hide it, that's okay, you just listen and see what's going on, and really reminding yourself that you're just having a conversation. This is not you in the spotlight. You're joining something organic that's happening. You listen, even if it means you just play a few notes. And that's something practical you can take. Let's say that you're joining a band that is vamping. I'll just play one chord. If you're new, vamping is just like playing over the same groove and same chord throughout. Let's say we have something like this. That's what the bass player is playing. On top of that, you have a guitar player or a keyboard that's playing this. So you're joining the stage, and that's what's going on. Man, what can I do? you might be tempted to, sorry, but lowering the volume. You might be tempted to think, even if you're a nice guy, we all do that. I want to leave a trace there. I want to shine. I want to be the one who people look at and think, man, he's good. Don't. Just one note is enough sometimes to create that musical story. So you just ask for the key. What's the key? Oh, we're in E Dorian. You just nod, even if you don't know Dorian. E, okay, where's my E? Okay, I'm just gonna play an E, that's it. But you're hearing that the bass player is in that zone of the fretboard, kind of lower. The guitar player is kind of in the mids. We're gonna take a space that's not taken. So you're gonna be higher on the fretboard, and you're just gonna go with the rhythm. So that's the basic rhythm, right? And then you try to sing something over it. Even rap something over. Like, I just had a sandwich. I just had a sandwich. That works. Da 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 da. And it works, right? And you might try another note. Works too. If it's a wrong note, just nod and say, yeah, you meant it. It still works, right? Confidence. So, yeah, the question was state of mind, just be confident and know that nobody's judging you. If they are, just go to another open jam. You're at the wrong one.
All right. Next question is from Sandy. And the question is, does being prepared equal being confident?
It can be. It depends on the situation. If we're talking about let's say Chris was mentioning something about a dinner theater thing where you show up and you've got books to read. Yes, confidence is going to take you a long way, but it's maybe not enough. You might need a little bit more. But really, it's a lot more than you might think, confidence. Maybe 50% of it. And then, obviously, don't just be like, I never played guitar before. I'm buying a guitar. I'm confident, and I'm showing up to the gig. Still practice some things, but confidence will bring you a long way, probably 50%.
Okay, next question is from Patrick. And the question is, why can I speak in front of 200 people, no problem, full of confidence and all, but just fall apart when I try to play in front of 5? I know the material, but my anxiety is through the roof.
Yeah, most likely because you can probably see their reaction and hear their reaction and get direct feedback. If you're playing in front of an audience and on a stage, you're probably not going to have that feedback right away. You're not going to see that person yawning, or it's probably why. Yeah, I don't know. I get it, though. I totally get it.
Okay, and this one's from Brendan. My amp already has a looper. Would it be beneficial to get a pedal instead, or does it not matter?
I would say, yeah. A looper is a great learning tool. There's so much you can do with it. You can learn about music theory with it. You can learn about phrasing. So I'd say, yeah, definitely invest in one for sure. I said earlier that I would talk maybe a little bit about the theory behind it, what I was doing. And the key thing to remember, I think, is that a note by itself is just a sound. It doesn't mean anything. But if it's played in relation to something else, that's where that note becomes something. Demonstration would be this. If I play this note, I'll just loop. It's going to go on forever. It really doesn't speak much. But now if that note is played in relation to this, it makes you feel something, right? Now if I play that same exact note in relation to this, different emotion again. Yet we started the same note that made you feel this, right? And that's what music theory is, and if you can get to a point where you know all the different meanings that a note can have, whatever the meaning and whatever the name you give to that meaning, as long as you know how that's going to make people feel, then you've got it made, and you can create stories that'll speak to people. Right? So that's just a little tip for those who feel overwhelmed by music theory. Just go back to that. Music theory is just the study of the emotions, different emotions that a single note can have. Just a little side note for you guys.
Okay, the next question. I can follow instructors on lessons, but when assigned the task of finding phrasing, let's say in a pentatonic scale for 10 minutes, no phrases are there. Any assistance with finding these phrases?
Yeah, what helped me is to not think in terms of pitch, but of rhythm. And this is, I think I got this from Scott Henderson. I can't remember it. I didn't make this up, but if you don't know how to phrase, just take a kid's rhyme song, like Old MacDonald Had a Farm, E-I-E-I-O. And you take each sentence and you just take one, Old MacDonald Had a Farm, just that one. I can't help it, E-I-E-I-O. Just take that one sentence and try to speak it musically. So how can you say that? I could say it, Old MacDonald Had a Farm, E-I-E-I-O. How would you say this? On the pentatonic scale, Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. For example, and that's your phrase. You take anything, or you take a book. That's a great way to learn phrasing. Just take a book, any book, open it, and start reading one sentence at a time. And instead of reading that sentence, just play it and add emotions to it. Excited, sad, speed up through it, or rap. Take a rap song and try to reproduce those phrases on the guitar. You're not going to sound like a rapper because you're applying pitches. Approach it that way, and that'll really help your phrasing, I think.
Okay, we can do a question or two after this, but we do have to do the giveaway. People are expecting it, and as a man of the people, I aim to deliver. I am basically JamPlay's version of Robin Hood. I will raid our bank account.
You stole
I didn't. I stole them from.
Yeah, he wanted to
our
give mine
business
away
account
earlier.
and gave them to everyone.
This is nice.
I'm stealing from myself to give to the guitarless. All right, guys. So blah blah blah. Here come the rules. Just get ready. I'm going to do it really quick. I've been logging your names through this whole session if you've interacted in a meaningful way. That just means no spam. If you asked a question, gave a nice comment, helped another person in the chat room out, whatever. I've logged your name, and we've selected winners. You do need to be present in the chat. So I am going to post a message in the Facebook chat and the live stream chat with the winner's name. The winner then has 2 minutes to respond and let us know two things. First, that they are there, and second, that they are from North America, and North America meaning United States, Canada, Mexico. If somebody from outside of those countries wins, we will give them a $100 gift card as a consolation prize, so hopefully they can buy some sort of musical goods or groceries, whatever. It really doesn't matter to us, but hopefully musical goods. So I'm going to get on with this because it's getting late and we're all getting tired and nobody wants to hear me talk anymore. Here we go. Ready? Ooh, I'm going to do live stream first, and I somehow lost my live stream feed. Here we are. All right. And the winner is Mark Kanific. Mark Kanific. Oh, by the way, guys, let's keep the chat room spam to a minimum right now, please, so Mark can see this. The winner is Mark Kanific. And I'm happy about this because I love when I see guys who've been here all day win. That makes me feel good in my soul. Mark Knifick, you've got 2 minutes. Well, you've got a minute. He's here. Albany, New York. See?
Excellent.
He's been here all day. He knows what to do. Easy. Easy, easy, easy. All right, if you guys want to do a couple more questions, that's okay. Oh, Dave's playing the guitar.
It's nice.
Didn't even notice that. I feel bad. You can mute me now, Chris.
This is a PRS.
Where was Mark?
PRS, I don't really know.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's a Zach Myers special edition.
All right, we got a question.
Got a question here from Steve. When I'm improvising, how do I keep from getting lost with what change I'm playing over, especially with over 3 chords?
So I think studying the cage system will help you. The cage system is just a system that organizes your knowledge of the fretboard into smaller chunks, and each chunk, you can assign to each chunk a chord shape. And the cool thing is that any chord can be assigned to any of those 5 chunks. There's 5 different chunks of the fretboard. So I would start by, it kind of depends. There's 2 scenarios. Either you know the chords, so you've got a book, a real book, or you've told the chords, or not at all. If not at all, you have to rely on your ears. Sometimes on your eyes, if you're playing with a band on an open jam band, you'll see the bass player do weird faces and or do numbers like that. But mostly you're going to use your ears, and that might slow down your playing because you don't want to be in a long phrase, or you're in automatic playing, following the patterns you know, and then there's a change there. Or, again, the chord system can help you by each time there's a chord that changes, you're going to use the corresponding scale shape within the cage system so that your improv is going to be condensed to a narrower area of the fretboard, which in results will make your improvisation sound more melodic. So for example, let's see if you can hear the chord changes in this. And that is just a traditional blues, but following those chord shapes. So that's how I would do it. So study the cage system. That's really going to help you. And arpeggios and all that.
Okay, next one is from Randy. And Randy asks, how do you relate musical phrases with the story in your head?
So I don't think it's a how-to. I don't think there's a set rule. I think it's just, again, a confidence thing. And you assigned, or that's what I do, I assign to whatever musical thing I'm playing a story. But there's no rules. Like this, I could imagine this as like the beach story that we had earlier, or that's a dragon that's sleeping under the castle. And then later, I'm going to play more ideas and stuff. And then I remembered, I started with the dragon. Let's go back to that. So that means going back to that zone of the fretboard, that scale that I might have used, that tone. The story doesn't matter, but the story helps you structure your improv. So just pick a story that you like, anything, and go with that.
All right, and next one's from Joey Marquez. When playing the pentatonic scale, how do you get them to not sound like scales?
So going back to reading a book and reading it with your guitar, so that will help. And also remembering that a scale is just an alphabet. So when I'm speaking, I am just using the 26 letters of the alphabet. Is it 26? Yeah, let's call it 26. And I'm using the same letters over and over, yet I come up with many, many different things. So having that mindset will help you free yourself from seeing it as a scale. And then reading a book, Johnny went to the market. For example, Johnny went to the market. You count the syllables. And even if I just followed my scale, I could still say Johnny went to the market. Johnny went to the market. Rhythm itself can change a boring scale to something more musical. For example, I can't remember the question, but I think you'd answered it.
Hey, we got another little giveaway to do here. Jason's going to handle it.
Unmute my mic.
Okay, so this is kind of a testament to the generosity of our JamPlay members. But we received a support ticket earlier this morning from one of our members. His name was Howard Kahn, and he wrote, "Hi, I recently signed up for my 3rd year at JamPlay, and as I was just playing some things I learned here, I was thinking how happy I have been with my progress and what an incredible value you offer us here. I would like to give back and pay for someone's 1-year membership at JamPlay. Is there any way I could offer up a 1-year membership raffle from JamPlay and I could pay for it?" Howard Kahn. So yeah, we said, yes, we can certainly do that. And so Howard purchased a 1-year membership under our sale currently. And now is the time that we are going to give that away. We have already picked the winners and runners up for it. With this one, it does not matter where you are. Anybody can take advantage of this, obviously, since it's a membership to JamPlay, and it is a 1-year membership. And so, if we could get quiet in the chat, the winner, and let's see here. Let me write it out here. Okay, Jim Bulkowski. Jim Bulkowski, please let us know that you are here. We have selected you as the 1-year membership winner.
That's really awesome. Thank you.
Jim Bulkowski, please let us know if you're here.
This guitar is really comfortable.
Jim, please let us know if you're here. We haven't heard from you yet. You're running out of time. Jeff, he's not on Facebook, is he?
Oh, I don't think so, because I put Facebook notation with the name. No.
Okay, Jim, we will give you 30 seconds more.
Dave, you seem to like that guitar.
I really do. Yeah, it's really, really comfortable.
I suppose you could swap it out for the Ibanez and keep that one.
I'm tempted. No,
Okay, everybody, it looks like we're going to have to go to our runner-up here since Jim does not appear to be here with us right now. Sorry, Jim, if you're hearing this now, your time has passed. We are now moving to our runner-up, which is Fred Snyder. Fred Snyder, please let us know if you're here.
Do you guys remember Fred Schneider, that really bad musician from the 80s? He sang this song. Sorry, this isn't a dirty thing, but he sang this song called "A Monster in My Pants," and it was just really bad. I guess Dylan remembers that.
But maybe it's him, though.
Maybe it's the same person here, yeah. But I think he probably knows how to play guitar since he was in a band 25 years ago.
Fred Snyder, are you here?
The Love Shack, that's right, he did the Love Shack.
Oh, that's a good song.
B-52s.
Was that Fred Schneider?
Yeah, I think he is in that band.
Really? Oh my goodness, I didn't know that.
Now you gotta Google it.
Yeah, I want to make sure.
Okay,
before-
we're probably going to have to go to our third runner-up here.
He was in the B-52s. Wow, good trivia, guys. I never realized that. I never listened to the B-52s.
Okay, well, Fred Snyder, Fred is here. Hold on, is he here? Fred Snyder says he is here.
Yay! Fred
Just
Schneider.
now, just on the, just before we were about to move on.
Nice.
He probably thinks he won a guitar and is all excited.
Fred Snyder, you've won a 1-year membership to JamPlay. Please send us an email to support@jamplay.com, and we will get you set up on that 1-year membership. And definitely, again, a huge shout out to our JamPlay member, Howard Kahn. That was an incredibly nice gesture that he did. So thank you very much to him. And Fred, thank him as well, since he just paid for a year membership to JamPlay for you. So with that, we can get back to, do we have time for a few lessons or a few questions for Dave?
I'm thinking we probably need to move on to Lupe's lesson.
All right, so we are going to move on to Chris Lipe. This is going to be the last session of the day,
He's going to talk about goal setting.
and he's going to talk about goal setting, and we're also going to give away that Fender Stratocaster.
Stratocaster. Woo! Woo!
All right.
Woo!
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, everyone.
I did not know French.